Hey, what's up? My name's Nigel, and we are back at it with another wireless mic review from Comica. This is the Comica Boomx-U that you are listening to right now, and the U stands for UHF. So if you remember my last Comica wireless mic video I did, I'll put that somewhere up there. That was the Boomx-D, and that was a wireless microphone system that worked off a 2.4 gigahertz signal. So they just came out with this Boomx-U, which is a nice compact wireless microphone system that works off of the far more common UHF signal, which is what a lot of the professional wireless mics work off of, like the Sennheiser G4s. So what you're listening to me right now on is actually the built-in microphone on this transmitter of the Comica Boomx-U. And before I go any further, I do want to say that Comica was nice enough to send me this Boomx-U package for review. But I'm not getting paid, and I'm not required to say anything nice about these products. This is going to be my honest and unbiased opinion. So I think I'm going to do half of this review here in the skate park, and then the other half back in my office. The thing that I really didn't like about the Boomx-D was that because it worked off a 2.4 gigahertz signal, which is the same signal that Wi-Fi uses, there was a lot of interference and really weird low-end staticky electronic noise in my audio. So when it came to doing any kind of interviews or making a YouTube video inside of my office or anywhere with heavy Wi-Fi interference, I basically couldn't use the Boomx-D. Now, a lot of other people who have gotten the Boomx-D to review didn't have that problem, but it definitely was a problem with my setup, and I've even had problems like that with the Rode Wireless Go's. So having a wireless system that works off of a UHF signal, to me, just feels a little bit better to use. Now, obviously, I'm still gonna monitor my audio to make sure that I'm not having any weird dropouts, but as long as you do a scan and find the best channel for the UHF signal that you're using, typically you can get some really good results. So as far as the transmitters are really nice and sleek. It is all plastic, but it looks like it's a brushed metal, actually. So it's plastic, but it looks pretty high quality plastic. On the left-hand side, you have a little reset button, the USB Type-C connector, and that's how you charge it. And then there's this little infrared eye right here, and that's how you're gonna pair it to the receiver. Then on the front, you have the built-in microphone, which is pretty cool. This whole system is a little bit too big to just be clipped onto someone's lapel. I would never clip this onto somebody, but in a pinch, if you forgot a lavalier mic, you can use the built-in microphone. On the top, you do have the mic jack, as well as that little spot that the Comica Boomx-D had for the little pin that holds the microphone in there. And then on the front, you have a power button and a mute button. So it's pretty simple on the top. You do a lot of the settings and the pairing and the scanning on the receiver and not the transmitter. Then here on the side, this is a little antenna, which I guess if you wanted to get a little bit more range out of these, you can pop this up, and I think that will help. You would never have it like this when you have it, clipped onto your belt. I mean, maybe you would, but I would never have this kind of dangling out that's just begging for someone to accidentally knock it off or something like that. The little belt clip is also hot shoe compatible, so that's pretty nice. As far as stuff that comes with the Boomx-U, I am really glad that Comica has been listening. Maybe not to me, but I've definitely mentioned it a few times in my reviews of Comica products. I love when they include bags, because then it just keeps everything nice and tidy, and there's a place for everything. Inside the bag, there's a little slot for the 2 transmitters and the receiver, which is really nice. I like that a lot. Then on the outside, you can store basically everything else you need. So there's a TRS to TRRS if you want to connect this to a phone or an iPad. There's your lavalier microphone. I'm wearing one right now, and I have one of the transmitters, but this is the other one for the second transmitter. And then you have your USB-C right here, and then there is an XLR, which is 3.5 millimeter, and that's just if you wanted to connect this to maybe a cinema camera that has XLR inputs. You can connect the receiver to that. And yeah, I really like this. It's all just one little complete package, so thumbs up for me, Comica. Good job for giving us a case to put it all in. I like that a lot. Okay, so something that a lot of people asked in my last wireless mic review was, if you had 2 transmitters, can you split the signal so that one's on the left and one's on the right? And yes, you can. It's as simple as going into the menu on the receiver and switching it from mono to stereo. So you should be hearing this audio from your left speaker, and this audio should be from your right speaker. So the answer is yes, you can split the signals so that one is left and one is right. And this can be good if maybe you have a person that usually talks louder. You can turn their gain down in the receiver, and someone who talks quieter, you can turn their gain up. So that way you're not gonna have one person peaking and one person that you can barely hear. So it kind of just occurred to me what this little antenna on the transmitter could be used for. And I've seen this done with the Rode Wireless Go's a lot, where people will plug their Rode Video Micro up to a Rode Wireless Go and then have like a wireless boom mic set up. Now, that's really cool, and I feel like that's gonna become a lot more normal for people trying to get more like, you know, boom mic setups without having to run the cables. That's something that I think that Comica has caught on to a little bit, that people are actually starting to do different things with their wireless systems. And that's something that I actually kind of like about Comica too, because I've seen a lot of other companies that are just basically, you know, cut copy versions of the Rode Wireless Go's. Whereas a lot of the Comica stuff, yeah, it's very similar to some of the more popular brands out there, but they're actually innovating a little bit and building off of what other people have already done. So adding this little antenna here to give you better signal performance when you're doing, you know, shots like this, where I'm a good 20 feet away from my camera right now, and I'm still able to get a pretty clean signal. Now, as far as the signal performance with this Comica Boomx-U, there are some dropouts, especially when you're using a lav mic. And when I'm not in a line of sight of the receiver, there are some dropouts. But I've experienced that with even really high-end UHF-based wireless systems. So that's something that's kind of to be expected. That's why it's always important to monitor your audio with headphones whenever you're behind the camera. Obviously, I can't right now because I'm in front of the camera. I'm just hoping that I'm not having any really bad signal drops. But yeah, this is a setup that you could easily do with the Comica Boomx-U. And again, this little antenna here on the transmitter is hopefully going to be giving me some pretty strong signal performance. So yeah. So this is the situation that I've been kind of wondering how well this Comica Boomx-U is going to perform in. Now, I'm in my office right now, and typically with the Comica Boomx-D, the model that I reviewed before, again with the 2.4 gigahertz signal, there was a lot of really weird electronic noise in there. And even right now, this isn't the most soundproof place. I have some neighbors doing yard work outside, so you might be able to hear that. But most of all, I just want to see if I can actually use this as a YouTube mic. So the actual setup process of this Boomx-D is actually pretty simple. All you have to do is just turn both the receiver and the transmitter on, and then you do all of the pairing through the receiver. You don't have to mess with the transmitter at all, which I think is pretty cool. And right now I am using the included lav mic from Comica, which I've always felt are a little bit bass heavy and they're not really that rich of a sound. But the audio quality from these Comica lav mics aren't honestly that bad, and I would still feel totally comfortable using them on a paid gig. And you can plug in different microphones like this Aspen Stereo HQ mic if you want to, just to get some better sounding audio in your video. So my final thoughts are, I really like this Boomx-U system. This is definitely more a system that I'm used to, having to scan for channels, find the best one, and getting a nice clean signal into my camera. And that's always what I'm kind of searching for, is I hate having to do separate system sound. And so being able to lav two people up and just record straight into camera is a really nice thing to be able to do. And with this Comica Boomx-U, it's very easily doable. One thing that I have noticed is that the little clip here can break off fairly easily with just a little bit too much force, so just be careful with that. The only other negatives that I can really talk about is they are obviously pretty big. I definitely wouldn't clip one of these onto somebody's collar. It would just be really awkward and weird looking. They're smaller than something like the Sennheiser G4s, but they also have that built-in mic. If you just need some way of capturing audio and you don't have a microphone with you, there's at least one on the actual transmitter, so that's a nice little touch. So all in all, this will probably be the system that I'll go to when I'm trying to film a two-person interview, or just an interview where I need to lav someone up as opposed to booming a mic over them. So I think this performed very well. I'll have a link to where you can find the pricing and the availability of this Comica Boomx-U system, but overall, I really like it. Big thanks to Comica for sending this out to me. But I think that's all I have for you all today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, it'd be really cool if you hit the like button. And if you want to see more of my videos, you can click on either side of my face. Once again, thanks so much for stopping by, and I'll see you next time. Later.